What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today, in the world of indie games, we're taking a look at a game called Ymir. If you've never heard of Ymir before, this is a very ambitious project being developed by one guy, where it's kind of like a massively multiplayer civilization builder, where essentially you've got like this giant map that's made up of squares, everybody claims a territory, and a game in Ymir might last for like months, where every single day there will be new objectives and things you're trying to accomplish in order to get victory points, eliminate other people from the map, and become the winner. As far as I can tell, you've got a limited amount of turns like per day that you can essentially play. But they sent this game over. I played the tutorial. I started a new game and kind of played by myself for a little bit on a private server. And so I've got a rough idea of what's going on. However, this is one of those games that's very much expected to be played online. So I would suggest that we dive on in. We've got Pork Pie Landing and we've got Long-Term Server. Let's go with Pork Pie Landing. That sounds like fun. We'll make a character real fast. We'll start our tribe and hopefully we find something cool. Let's pick a face here. That's my favorite face. And then obviously we gotta have the Bebop and Rocksteady glasses. I want to have like a big old schnoz. There we go. That looks good. And then let's figure out what we want to do with our tusks and our mouth and everything else. I think that maybe... I mean, those are some pretty dope tusks right there. I think I'm going to go with that one. We got to name our character too. What do I want to name him? I'm going to name him the Splattercat. Well, we'll call him Splatterpig. It'll make it easier. And then our town will be called Ballerville. Perfect. Got to pick a color for our flag. That looks good. We got to pick an icon for our flag. That looks good. Put that right there. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way that it looks. Let's play the game, shall we? Greetings, the Splatterpig. After living as nomads since the dawn of time, living and hunting and gathering, your primitive tribe has finally stumbled upon a territory that seems worthy of renouncing their nomadic ways. The time has come to settle down and build something significant to resist the test of time, and they have chosen you to lead them. This seems to be a decent territory in order to do so, but maybe it's worth continuing your journey to find better lands, which is not advised for new players. The decision is yours. Okay. Well, it started me off right next to somebody else's territory. The territory of Euphomach, the chiefdom of Astana. Alright. I mean, we started off on a pretty sweet spot, though. We got water and everything. That's the ocean, though? It's possible that because there's an ocean right there, we might not be able to turn that into the water we need in order to survive. Let's take a look at this territory real fast and see if it's got what we need to get started. Because if there's no water here, we're not going to be able to accomplish a whole lot before our people die off of horrible thirst. So, like, one thing at a time. It looks like we do have access to what looks like a little tiny reservoir over here somewhere. So there's the ocean. There's our little reservoir of fresh water right there. We can settle here. Having one water source is good enough for now. I would mention that it looks like it's kind of under threat from the ocean to kind of overflow and cause problems. But in the interest of kind of saving our turn and making sure that we don't waste our time here, I think I'm going to go for it. We're going to settle right next door to this guy. Hopefully we don't end up in any kind of war with him. I would suggest that maybe since we're such close neighbors, we should treat this like America and Canada or like the United States and Mexico, and we should probably be like on good terms with our neighbors. But we're going to settle here. So settling is done. We got to name this place. I'm going to call it Ballerville. Perfect. And we're going to settle here. So this is our new village. Now, there will probably be some kind of land race, but that's going to be part of my diplomacy with this guy, is basically sitting down, contacting him, and sending an emissary and being like, you know, you can take everything that way, I'll take everything this way. We can also have like a defense pact, so if anybody attacks me, you attack them, or if anybody attacks you, I'll attack them. And it's sort of a cool game in that regard, because this game is going to be a big experiment in sort of like social engineering and seeing whether people can get along, because when it starts you off right next to somebody like this, you have two options. You can try to kill them and eliminate them from the map so that they're not a threat to you later on in the game, or you can ally and you can go together and see what happens and then wait for a proper time to betray them maybe, or maybe stick to your guns. I like the idea that this game is getting after. Our newly settled tribe now urgently needs fresh water to survive. We have to arrange for a spot where the people of the tribe can easily access and get fresh water. No need to worry about it. The people of the tribe will use it by themselves to get the water that they need. We'll have to watch out though. While one is enough for our small tribe for now, these spots can only accommodate a limited amount of people until new ones are required. Okay. Well, let's zoom on in. We'll take a look right here and we'll see what we got going on. We have a water source, which I'm tremendously thankful for. That's going to make our lives a lot easier. But aside from that, we do have a lot of things that we're going to need to get done before we get moving. So let's go ahead and we're going to have a look at our little village over here. As you can see, our porcos are wandering around. The first big thing we're going to need is a water collector. How far away from the water source are we? Are we really, really far away? Okay, well, we need one of these, and we can put it right there. So, bam. Our water collector is free. They're going to get to work on that right there, and that means that our water supply will be taken care of. Our newly settled tribe is going to starve if we do not find food. We need to build a hunting camp near any available source of wild animals we can find in our new territory. This will give us fresh meat, but also leather. Okay, easy peasy. We've got a production menu over here that you can take a look at. This is our Porco village. As you can see, our little guys are wandering around. They're living in slums right now. So this is improvised housing that they'll put up if we haven't provided real housing for them. It sounds like we got horses over there. This horse is doing donuts at the moment. It's a very enthusiastic horse. This horse is super stoked about horsing. It might not be the most functional horse, but he is happy, you know. So you take the things that you get. We probably want to find a place to hunt. Let's have a look around here and see what we can manage with hunting. We can also do a gathering camp if we really, really want to. We can look around for things that can be gathered. Yeah, we got carrot fields right here. Go ahead and put that in the carrot field, I suppose. Looks good to me. Gathering camp will make sure that we have a certain baseline amount of food before we go further into the game. Do we have anything else sitting around over here? We do have cows on this side. We could go ahead and hunt those. So I suppose I'll put this over here to cattle hunt, possibly. I guess we could hunt the horses. They're a little bit closer, but, like, eating horses, I don't know how I feel about that. What are those? Rabbits? Yeah, do rabbits. The rabbits are apparently doing donuts as well. So we'll put that in right there. Our second one is not going to be free. It's going to cost us on that one right there. So we'll want to keep that in mind. What do we have going on down here? More spinning bunnies. As you can tell, this game is actively in development right now. I'm going to wait a bit on that one. Have they finished off the water collector? Is that good to go? Yeah, water collector is good to go. So we've got 1.2 water, 1.1 being sold directly. And so our total income of water is 1.1. And so the water has been 1.2% or 12% exploited. So we can still add a lot more water to this little dude over here if we need to. We can check that through the resources menu right here. We also have formations. We can make an army later on so that we can protect ourselves. But as far as building goes, is the hunting done? So it looks like hunting is done, and people will automatically fill in these jobs right here. We were only carrying a few stone tools with us. Those are required for pretty much everything, and soon we're going to have to find new ones if we want to keep developing the tribe. We should assign a few porcos to the lengthy task of collecting flints from the gravelly grounds around here, while others can skillfully use the flints to craft new stone tools. Yeah, it's easy peasy. We just got to find a flint field around here, and you can find that by right there. You see how the ground lights up green right there? That's because that's gatherable. And so we can put this guy right here. You'll notice that the amount that we get, it goes down as we get further from there. So I'm going to put that right there so that we have flinty tools. And then once we have flint available, we're going to be able to produce tools. And so I'm going to take some of these tools over here, and we'll put a tool builder right there. And so that's the two things that we're going to need in order to really, really get started. At the moment, our character's score is 29. We're not doing massively, incredibly well right now, but I would like to be a little bit better. Like my opponent right now, the guy that's next to me, my opponent slash ally, he's at like 120, and I'd like to be around where he's at just to sort of like deter him from thinking about hitting me before I have time to log on and send him a message. For diplomacy right now, we don't really have enough. So we've completed those missions. We've also got the mission to create tools. You can see right here, our little guys are building. And so there it is. We have our tool maker. It should trigger a new quest for us in just a moment. As a newly created character, to enjoy a dynamic start, you are given a 10 times speed boost during your first 2 hours of playing. This bonus, as long as it remains active, modifies the following stats of your character. Oh, so it makes us go faster so that essentially we can catch up with everybody else. I assume that that dynamically adjusts depending on how many players are in and how old the server is and how long we've been playing or how long they've been playing as well. All right, so tool production over here is doing its thing. So we are automatically using flint in order to produce tools, and so 1 hammer is being produced. We can also diversify that a little bit later for the production that we want, but at the moment we've got flint and we've got tools. Pretty cool stuff, if I do say so myself. We will also need wood in order to make things. Okay, so we can make a woodcutter. Woodcutter's easy peasy. We don't really have a great source of wood around here. We have kind of a disappointing amount of wood on this map, but we'll persevere. I'm going to put it down here where all the trees are at, because as I understand it, if you want to gather wood, you should probably be in an area with trees. I know, right? A brilliant synopsis for me to give you. Alright, so we got a new event that's popped up. There might be hostile barbarians around and other unfriendly tribes. We need to be ready to defend ourselves. Rock throwers are porcos that are armed with big rocks to throw at the enemies. They're the earliest range unit possible. They're slow and have a really short range, making them pretty much useless for anything else but defending behind walls and gates. We should create a small wooden fort and then recruit a militia of rock throwers. Deploy them inside the fort in the stand ground mode using the strategic tool. This way, they will remain in it during battles and won't try to move around to engage the enemy. If enemy warriors attack and try to breach the fort, the rock throwers will be able to attack them from the other side, giving you a defensive advantage. You can also add warriors in case the attackers manage to breach, the attackers manage to breach through, as the rock throwers will be bad in melee. There, I could read. I knew I was literate. I knew it. So as of right now, we should be producing some stuff. We can click on the territory menu right here. There's a lot of menus in this game, like tons. I actually think it could probably be streamlined a little bit, but there's a lot of things in here. So we have 20 people, 7 unemployed people right now, which means we can build a few more things. Our growth is 4.5 at the moment. That means that every 2.5 hours or so, we're going to get another 5 population. So there you go. This game is meant to be played over the long term, so this isn't supposed to be a game that you binge out for like 8 hours straight. This is a game where you come in, you play for like 35 minutes, and then you kind of wait for your population to grow, and then you'll go through and you'll adapt to that later on. But for now, we've got culture. Everybody's very loyal to us. We're not in conflict with anybody, so no biggie there. Right here, we can see if we go to this menu, you can look at the needs that everybody has. So if we wanted to have like leveled up porcos, we have to have apparently furnishings, we need clothing, and we need social access. For right now, all we really needed was water and food, and so we're in pretty good shape right there. As long as this growth is net positive, you know that you have enough food and water in order to keep the colony going. But if that starts to get down towards like 0.5 or 0.6, it means that it's probably time for you to expand out your housing and your food and everything else. So, what do we need right now? Well, it wanted me to create some warriors or something. I suppose that that's an option. We could create a militia. Do we even have walls or anything like that? We've got wooden stairs. Okay. Yeah, we don't really have walls or anything of that kind, so panicking about it doesn't really seem like the best way to spend my time. We can also go to the events menu. As far as our missions go, we don't really seem to have a whole lot going on there. We could go to our government menu, which is up here in the top left, and we could think about doing some research. But there's no available projects right now. The way that knowledge spreads in this game is actually kind of interesting. It's transmitted. Like, you can spontaneously, based on the amount of population you have in your village, somebody might spontaneously come up with an idea, and then you can research it. Or, if you're neighboring with somebody that also has research, like, your guys will see their stuff just in passing and be like, oh, I want that. And you can get it that way, too. Like, there's a lot of interesting ideas in this game that I think are going to make this a very, very cool, persistent game in the future. No, the next thing that it wanted was a military, and we can do that by making a formation. If we make a formation camp, like right here in the middle of town or along like the edge of town, we can then, these guys are called the Royal Goats. Hell no, they're going to be called the Cat's Claw. There we go. Got it. I guess we'll call it the Baller's Blade. I forgot that we weren't named after the Nerd Castle right now. There we go. So we'll be the Baller's Blade, and we can make these guys a militia, which means that they're not a standing army. It just means that if we're attacked, all of our little guys that are assigned to the militia will go and grab items and like fight with them. And so anyways, my suggestion for right now is it looks like we can have 10 guys in a militia. I'm going to put in 10 rock throwers. Looks good to me. So we've got 10 rock throwers in our militia. And then I will go with the strategic tool right here. What you really want to do is we can take this guy, and I think we can expand this out somehow. I don't know exactly how to do it. Pitched battle. Set the strategy of the troops. Call it defensive zone. I don't want you guys running off being all crazy. But with the defensive zone tool right here, I don't really... How do I edit a defensive zone? Yeah, delete this zone. Or I guess add another one that actually covers like the circumference of where we're going to be building. Like so. Perfect. So defensive zone 1 is much larger now. That works out a bit better because it's actively covering our territory, and then I'm going to be building out in this direction a little bit later. And so once we get going with that, we have defensive units now, so that's good. The Baller's Blade. We can also do a new formation over here if we want to, which I think is probably a good idea. We'll call it Militia, and these guys will go, and we'll have these guys be clubbers, basically. Perfect. And so we got 10 guys. Basically what will happen is if we get attacked, 10 of our pigs will go grab rocks from right here, and 10 of them will grab clubs from right here, and then they will defend that red zone that I just established. I've never actually done combat in this game on, like, the smaller maps, like this one right here. I've done it on the world map where, like, you invade another territory and you, like, beat something to death, but I've never actively actually seen a battle happen in this game like this, so we gotta wait for this to build. And as soon as it's up and ready to go, we should be... How many does it want me to have? Oh, it wants me to put them on stand ground. Okay, so with the strategic tool, I need the Baller's Blade here. We can move them over. And we can move them over. And then we want them to be set to... stand ground, which is down here in the bottom left. It took me a second to find it. There we go. So we've got them on stand ground now, and we'll call that done so that it's all good to go. And hopefully this should, like, roll over. Oh, it wants me to have 20 rock throwers. Oh. Okay, well, you guys then disband. Yes, that's fine. We'll disband that, and then we'll make a new formation right here. It only wants me to have rock throwers. I didn't realize that. The Cloud Punchers. We're going to call these guys the Baller's Bricks. And then I need them to be rock throwers, and we can only have 10 out of 10 right there. So we'll put that in, and then all these guys need to be set to stand their ground. So we take this dude right here. They have been toggled on. Oh, never mind. Occasionally, porcos of our tribe will get new ideas on how to improve our society and techniques. Ideas from other tribes might reach out to us as well. These ideas unlock projects that we can complete to unlock and master new technologies. While we cannot directly control the appearance of new ideas, though high populations, quality of life, and intelligence will favor it, we can choose to invest or not in the projects unlocked by them. To get started, projects require that researchers are assigned to them and might also require things like resources or money. Depending on the amount of intelligence of the researchers and the required work, the project will take some time to be completed. If successfully completed, it will unlock rewards, usually giving new knowledge. Knowledge enable new buildings, policies, resources, and allow your society to evolve. They require a certain amount of knowledge space, the ability of your society to keep knowledge, which at first you will only get through culture. For every 10 points of culture, you will get 1 point of knowledge space. In the early game, the best way to increase your culture is simply to increase your total population. Our tribe had its first idea, settling down and becoming sedentary. Let's turn this idea into practice by completing the project. Okay, so we go to the government menu, and then we're going to go over to the knowledge menu, and there's sedentary life right there. Now, there's an extra step to this. We got to click on this little plus sign right here to put more researchers on it, depending on how many people we have extra. We only have a couple of farmers that are able to work on this, so we'll put those in there, and we will start the project. I don't know exactly how long this is going to take. It looks like it's going to take maybe 7 minutes or so, it looks like. So we've got a little bit of time that we're going to have to wait right now before we get the ability to build houses. But luckily enough, this is an edited video, so I can just, like, wait for that to happen. And it's no big deal. We can kind of just wait for it to push out. All right, we completed our research. It took a little while. It took like 10 minutes, actually, because they kept failing at it. They've got, like, a chance every single time they go up, like, a research point to basically fail or succeed. They failed a lot. Now that we have sedentarity, we can build our first permanent dwellings, primitive rustic huts. Proper housing provides bonuses of life quality and health to the households residing in it, which help increase our total population by reducing sickness and increasing their will to have piglets. Once empty, it's true, man. It's hard to be amorous in a bush, all right? Like, you can be over here like in the azaleas just like doing it. Or you could be inside of a super awesome house. It makes sense. When empty housing is available, the population will abandon makeshift tents they currently reside in to move into their new dwellings. But if the population grows bigger and doesn't have enough houses available, the extra families will be forced to move into makeshift dwellings again. So the general rule is if you got a bunch of these little tents and shit around, then you should probably go through and you should probably build some huts. Let's go ahead and we're going to start off down here. It's going to take us 1 hammer for each one of these. And I'll probably just put in some little residential streets right here until all the slums clear out. There we go. A couple of houses, little areas we can live inside of. I think that's 10, and it wanted me to build 10, so we should see all these little tents disappear after a while. Everybody will move into these houses, and then we'll be good to go. Now the population is growing, we should make a group to explore our surroundings. For this, we should get a group of at least 10 warriors and get them ready to move out of the village. Unlike the militia, troops in the regular army are removed from the population and become permanent members of the formation. If disbanded, they will return to the territory's population, and unlike militia, an army can move to other territories, explore the map, and perform actions like attacks, hunting, or carrying resources in its inventory. Each formation has a home territory, which is by default the place where it was created. The home territory is the one that supports the formation, representing the fact that its units will need to be replaced as they grow old and time passes. Each territory can support for free a certain amount of troops before having its demography negatively affected, and you can check this value in the territory menu. Cool. Sounds good to me. How long is it going to take to build these things right here? It's going to take like another minute and a half or so. Okay. Well, that's fine by me. I mean, we're moving along. We're adding little points in here and there. It's self-constructing. We don't have anybody that's a builder right now, which is kind of weak, but we'll figure it out. We also have Palisades, so we could build some walls. Apparently, that's going to cost us money, though, and I'm not exactly sure how much money we have. How much money do I have as part of, like, my government? The nation right now, we have, like, no taxes coming in. So we have a national, gets automatic trading rights with one another. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to have to set up, like, some kind of economy here. So we have 80 gold inside of our treasury at the moment. And it takes us 0.15 to build a wall. I'm thinking that walls are not going to be a super valid option for a little bit until we get our financial situation sorted out. I think I made an accidental nation over here. Like if I put that back on chieftain, it looks like we can pay income tax. But I don't know how we want to do that. Like with taxes, I don't know exactly how that all runs. Wasn't covered in the tutorial. I'm figuring we're going to have to earn money somehow. Our economic balance is +2, so apparently we're earning money in some regard. So with tax incomes, we get +2. But we are falling off right now with our vital needs. And so we should probably, like, do better. Is it the water that's causing issues? Because if it's water that's causing issues, I can fix that. I can get in here and we can make that, like, happen. Let's see. It's got to be 15 tiles away from a building of the same type. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, that makes this a problem. That makes this an issue. We don't have any other water sources on the map either, so we may have to, like, colonize a place and go get more water. Building along a river is typically what you want, because then you can, like, spackle these all the way down the river. If you get a river tile on the world map, you're in really good shape. Like, legitimately, you're in a super good shape if you've got a river tile. Unfortunately, we do not have a river or lake tile. We're next to an ocean. I was hoping this was going to be a really big lake. That's what I was hoping for, but... Can I go to his territory and see what his base looks like? Let's have a look at it. Let's see what this guy's got going on. We may have to trade for water. This guy may have more water than we actively have, which puts us in an awkward situation. How's your agua looking right now, man? So you got one over there. He's only got one water spot, too. So I think his population's going to kind of get stuck the same way mine's getting stuck. I think without expansion and settling, we're going to struggle. He does have things set up, though, so that's good. But yeah, we're going to have to figure out where some more water is at, I think. Because I don't think one water gatherer is going to do it for us in the long term. And honestly, I don't know how to get on top of that issue. Like, I know we can settle a neighboring territory or something and claim it, but is that wise? Is that what I should do? I don't know. I don't know. As you can see, our huts have been built, and there is now a household living inside of said huts. We should see these little tents disappear with time, but for right now, it looks like they're kind of just chillaxing. That should have brought our territory up. Like, we should have. Yeah, our quality of life has gone up by a little bit. A little tiny bit, not a lot. But I think the best idea that we have running for us right now is to get more water. So my name is Splat. This game is called Ymir. Hope you liked what you saw. I don't know if we'll play a lot of it just because it's like limited in the amount that you can accomplish in a given play section. And so like it's difficult to like predict when I'm going to be able to play for like a 25-minute episode. But that being said, I wanted to make you guys aware of this title because I'm very, very interested in it. And I have been watching it kind of in the back of my mind. I've had it kind of on my wish list for a while. I've been kind of watching its development, and I've been watching other people play it as they get access to the alpha. And I finally got access to the alpha, and I think the game is pretty sweet. It kind of reminds me of those old school games that used to be on the internet, like in the browser, where you would build like your little village and everything, and you check back in on it. In the earlier days of the internet, games like this were very, very common, where you would play like maybe 20 minutes a day and keep things updated. Nowadays, most of that has moved over to phones, but in this one, it seems like the breadth of it is going to be a lot more in-depth than a lot of the stuff that you can get on the mobile platform. And so, anyways, I hope you liked it. This is Ymir. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in indie gaming every single day so that you don't have to. Take care, everybody. If you enjoyed this episode, you can help the channel out a bunch by hitting the like button down below. Other than that, I will see you all later. Thank you for hanging out, and hi-do.